Kaiser Permanente employees, let's talk about the deadly sin of apathy, and specifically being apathetic and doing your retirement planning on a napkin. Listen, if you've done this, don't feel too bad. This is how most people do their retirement planning, and it's actually a good first step, so you should feel good about that. In one instance I had, one of my first clients, I went to meet with them. We were sitting around their table, and they pulled out a paper bag full of account statements, dumped it onto the table, and that's how we started. A napkin would have been a step in the right direction for them. Listen, though there's lots of reasons not to do your retirement planning on a napkin. One is I think we still have a toilet paper shortage going on, and you never know what you might need that napkin for. But the real reason why you shouldn't do this on a napkin is this is retirement. This is a very big deal. It deserves, I hate to tell you this, a spreadsheet. The Can I Retire spreadsheet. If you want to do one of these yourself, I'll explain what goes into the spreadsheet. But you should know, if you need one of these, our company, SMB Financial, will provide one of these to you for free. Listen, I've done hundreds of these over the last 15 years. We're good at them. It only takes us a few hours to put them together. And now I hire somebody named Jeremiah. I lock him in a closet, and he just cranks all these out for us every day. I'm just kidding about that. He has a couple of windows that he can look out while he's doing these for us. But the reason that we're doing these for free is we're just trying to help as many people as possible, trying to create as much value as we can for others, because we think if we help a lot of people, we'll be helped, and people will want to use us for their investments or their financial planning. Okay, let's get to the spreadsheet, the best part. First column you're going to want to include is Social Security. If you've worked for over 10 years, you have access to this payout, and you need to go to ssa.gov to find out how much you're going to be eligible for. Quick rule of thumb here, you're going to want to wait until age 70, or as late as possible, I should say, because Social Security payouts grow about 8% per year for every year you wait until age 70. The only caveat to that is if you're in poor health, you might want to consider taking it earlier. The other thing is if you're doing this with a spouse, if you're doing a spreadsheet with a spouse, you're going to want to plan to let the larger of the two payouts grow as big as possible. The reason for that is when one of the two spouses passes away, the surviving spouse gets to keep the larger of the two payouts. You'll lose the smaller one, unfortunately, but they'll get to retain the largest one. Okay, that's Social Security. Let's move on to the Kaiser Permanente Plan A pension. First thing you want to do with the pension is you want to call the administrator. If you're a KP employee, that's Mercer that does the administration for that benefit. You want to call them and get your benefit estimate. You could also go to the website, I think it's the iBenefit Center website, and get the information that way if you'd like. If you're Northwest Permanente, it's a different number to call, and we can provide that number to you if you need it. But the main thing you want to do is you want to get that information because you need to make a decision. If you've worked at Kaiser for over 5 years, you're vested into that pension, and you've got to decide whether you want to do monthly payout or a lump sum payout. Let's do a quick pros and cons on each one of these. The monthly is a great option. It's a great choice. You make the selection, you do the paperwork, and you will get a small amount every month in your checking account, just like you would get a paycheck from Kaiser. It's easy, there's virtually no risk. As long as Uncle Kaiser can make those payouts, you'll be getting paid. And I think Kaiser has $30 billion in reserves, so I think they'll be able to make those payments. But what the monthly doesn't do very well is transfer to the next generation. So if you're looking to benefit a spouse after you're gone, or maybe kids and grandkids, you might consider the lump sum option. Now in this one, you would get, instead of a smaller amount, you get a large amount. You roll that to an IRA, so it's not immediately taxable, and then you would pull out a small amount every month to live on. It's a pretty good situation, because when you're gone, that money, that big account, would then pass to the spouse. If you if you have a spouse, and then to the kids, then to the grandkids if they haven't spent the money already. The only downside of the lump sum that I can see is that you have to choose the investments in that account. But luckily, now you know a great financial advisor who can help you pick those investments. The one other benefit of the lump sum is that you can get the monthly payout and you have access to the principal in case you needed a large amount of money for an emergency for something later in life. Think maybe long-term care or nursing home coverage, something like that. You would have the option of pulling more money out if you needed it, where you wouldn't have that option if you chose the monthly. Okay, we got to move on. Let's move on to the Vanguard TSA or the Fidelity 401k if you're a Northwest Permanente employee. So you need a couple of bits of information for this column. You need to find out what your current balance is. You need to find out how much you're contributing every year. Another rule of thumb there is to try to contribute about 15% of your income every year, or more, I should say. Then you need to figure out how much Kaiser is contributing to you on your behalf in that account. And then you want to grow that by a reasonable percentage until you retire. Typically, we're telling people about 5% growth. Seems like a decent and conservative growth rate over the future. The reason we're doing that is we need to figure out, we're trying to guess how much money you're going to have in retirement. Because once you know how much investments you'll have or assets you'll have, then you can figure out how much you could live on every year. That's the next column, is the income column from your retirement plan or your lump sum. The rule of thumb here is you don't want to take out more than 4 to 5% of those investments every year. If you don't take out more than 4 to 5% every year, you probably won't run out of money in retirement. The final columns then would be maybe a spouse's retirement plan, maybe a spouse's pension, possibly a rental house that's going to provide income in retirement, maybe an inheritance that you think is coming. Anything that might affect your retirement income should be included in this spreadsheet. Then you just add up all of those figures, add up all the retirement income, so you can see if you'll have enough income in retirement to retire and make the decision, can I retire? Get started on your Can I Retire spreadsheet, or call us or contact us, and we'd love to put one together for you.